Hollywood, the cradle of dreams and nightmares, has always fascinated and intrigued the world. Behind the dazzling lights, the glamour of red carpets, and meteoric careers lies a universe few truly know, where rumors travel faster than the spotlights. Since its inception, there have been accounts of obscure practices behind the scenes of the world's largest entertainment industry. Today, however, theories suggest that the new generation of stars faces even more extreme rituals, something few dare to question openly. But what are these rituals? Are they merely modern legends fueled by collective imagination, or is there indeed something darker happening behind the scenes? Is it possible that achieving absolute success in Hollywood requires paying a price beyond mere talent? Welcome to another night where mysteries never sleep. I am Midnight, and this is 7 Nights. Before we begin, I'd like to ask for your help. Like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it makes a huge difference in ensuring YouTube delivers these videos to more people and allows me to keep bringing you this content. I'm counting on you. Let's dive into the video. Hollywood is often associated with glamour and the fulfillment of dreams, but persistent reports suggest that behind the scenes of the world's largest entertainment industry lurk disturbing secrets. Hollywood, right? Glittery for those looking in from the outside, but those inside know that the bright lights come with some very dense shadows. Just wait and see. Since its early days, stories have circulated about dark practices whispered at exclusive parties and in studio backrooms. For some, fame is not solely achieved through talent or effort, but allegedly through a power system demanding sacrifices beyond common understanding. In Hollywood's golden age, iconic figures like Marilyn Monroe and Judy Garland faced relentless pressures to stay on top. While studios tightly controlled the media at the time, subsequent documents and accounts brought to light the notion of unwritten codes that major talents were compelled to follow. Insiders whisper that such practices not only endured, but have evolved into something more sophisticated and sinister over the decades. In the digital age, where careers can emerge overnight, the narrative that young stars face more than just the pressure of fame has gained traction. Social networks, forums, and independent channels suggest recurring patterns in the trajectories of artists who achieve sudden success. These patterns include erratic behaviors, inexplicable controversies, and in some cases, tragic events. Are these coincidences or signs of something deeper happening out of the spotlight? Those who study Hollywood's backstage suggest that influence over stars was never confined to multimillion-dollar contracts. Persistent reports mention exclusive parties where loyalty oaths and proof of commitment are allegedly demanded. While such stories rarely move beyond speculation, anonymous testimonies and leaked documents fuel these theories. Recent cases have reignited discussions about the link between meteoric success and the challenges faced by stars. Young artists frequently experience emotional instability or see their lives marked by tragedy shortly after achieving fame. Is this merely a product of industry pressure, or is there something more behind it? A widely debated example involves a promising actor who, according to sources, refused to attend an exclusive event for the entertainment elite. After his refusal, his career abruptly stalled, and he vanished from major productions. Later, in an interview, he simply remarked, "Hollywood has a side no one wants to see." The media, pointed to by some as complicit in this system, seems to oscillate between exploiting specific stories and burying others. It's interesting to note how some scandals quickly disappear from headlines, while others are widely publicized but never reach a definitive conclusion. This raises questions about who decides what should be exposed and what remains in the shadows. Symbols, gestures, and performances laden with potential hidden meanings are also often cited as evidence of a symbolic communication system. Major award ceremonies and public events are scrutinized by those who believe such elements are part of a code, understood only by a select circle. Skeptics dismiss this as artistic or aesthetic choices, but the repetition of patterns piques curiosity. With fame being achieved more quickly in the social media era, the vulnerability of new generations seems to have increased. The desire for global relevance, combined with extreme competitiveness, supposedly places young talents in a position of greater susceptibility to manipulation and unknown demands. What truly happens behind Hollywood's closed doors? To what extent do rumors connect with reality? The stories may be exaggerated, but the silence and repetition of patterns intrigue both critics and fans. Something appears to persist in the shadows, protecting the industry's secrets at all costs. Rumors of secret practices in Hollywood have crossed generations, but a new perspective has gained momentum, that the rituals associated with success have become more sophisticated and demanding. While past rumors revolved around exclusive parties and implicit agreements, today's theories suggest these practices have evolved into more complex forms of psychological and emotional control. During Hollywood's golden age, studios rigidly controlled their contracted stars' careers, shaping their public images and efficiently covering up scandals. However, with the industry's decentralization and the rise of the internet, the landscape has changed drastically. Today's stars no longer rely solely on studios for visibility. They are exposed to a global audience almost instantly. According to theorists, this new model has made young talents more vulnerable to external pressures. Anonymous accounts describe parties held in remote locations with a select group of powerful industry figures. At these gatherings, promising artists are allegedly required to demonstrate submission or loyalty through symbolic acts considered proofs of commitment. While no accounts have been verified, the similarities in the stories raise suspicion. The accelerated pace of fame in the digital era also raises concerns. Social media and streaming platforms can turn unknowns into global phenomena within weeks, but this rapid ascent comes at a price. According to theories, young artists, often inexperienced, are more likely to accept unfavorable conditions or participate in rituals to secure their career's continuity. Examples supporting this narrative are not lacking. A young actress, for instance, became the subject of speculation after mentioning in an interview that she had signed something she shouldn't have. Although the statement was quickly downplayed, her erratic behavior at public events fueled theories that she might be facing psychological pressures or consequences of an alleged initiation ritual. Moreover, patterns seem to repeat. Many rising stars face controversies, scandals, or tragic events early in their careers. According to accounts, these situations are not random, but part of a symbolic control process. The idea that public humiliations and emotional breakdowns are rituals designed to test loyalty or break new talents' resistance has been widely debated. Another point of interest is how elements linked to occult practices subtly appear in cultural productions. Music videos and performances often include references to symbols like triangles, eyes, or settings evoking ceremonies. While these details might be attributed to artistic creativity, critics see them as attempts to normalize hidden messages for the public. Analysts argue that the new generation of artists is more exposed due to the intensity of competition and the constant need for relevance. Unlike past stars who built their careers over decades, modern celebrities often reach their peak almost instantly. This speed, according to theorists, increases the pressure to make concessions, ensuring their stay at the top. There is also speculation that these practices have evolved to adapt to social and technological changes. Today, with privacy almost non-existent, it would be easier to manipulate young artists and create dependencies. Among insiders, stories circulate of contracts that not only restrict creative freedom, but include clauses reinforcing psychological control. The silence of stars is also frequently mentioned. Despite occasional insinuations, few celebrities dare to speak openly about the industry's backstage. When they do, their statements are quickly silenced or minimized. Some believe that fear of retaliation, whether in the form of financial losses or reputational damage, keeps many artists quiet. Rituals, whether symbolic or psychological, are said to have become an essential part of the mechanism sustaining Hollywood's elite. To what extent do these stories reflect reality? Are they merely projections of an audience fascinated by conspiracy theories? Or is there indeed a dark layer behind the meteoric rise of stars in the modern era? What is certain is that, despite changes in the industry, the mystery surrounding Hollywood's backstage has never disappeared. It has merely changed form. The meteoric rise of some new generation stars often raises suspicions about the paths that led them to success. Keen observers point to patterns and symbolic elements in films, music videos, and interviews, suggesting that these details might be clues to a hidden system governing the industry. In recent years, multi-million-dollar productions have propelled young artists to global stardom in a short period. In many of these cases, inexplicable moments intrigue the public. Eccentric behaviors, abrupt personality changes, and personal tragedies occurring shortly after the onset of success. Are these events mere coincidences, or do they reflect a deeper system operating behind the scenes? One of the most analyzed aspects is the recurring symbols in music videos and performances. Elements like triangles, eyes, and references to ceremonies are frequently highlighted by theorists. These symbols, often explained as artistic choices, are associated with esoteric and occult practices by those who believe in the existence of a secret network of control. Award ceremonies and major industry events are also scrutinized for patterns, with many pointing to recurring themes reminiscent of initiations or rituals. Narratives of symbolic sacrifices also often surround young stars. Many speculate that the scandals and public breakdowns faced by rising artists are part of a submission system meant to test their loyalty or solidify their place in the industry. The repetition of these episodes across different careers raises questions. Are they spontaneous situations or steps in a controlled process? An emblematic case involves a singer who, after a hugely successful debut album, began incorporating mystical symbols into her videos and performances. Although she defended these elements as creative choices, her most observant fans noticed that, in interviews, she frequently mentioned feeling as though she had lost control of her career. Such statements are interpreted by many as signs of a greater influence operating beyond the public's reach. There are times when someone is asking for help in code, but are we paying attention? Additionally, the behavior of some stars at public events further fuels these theories. Emotional breakdowns, incoherent speeches, and sudden image changes are often attributed to the pressures of fame. However, for those investigating patterns in the industry, these episodes might reflect tensions imposed by unknown internal processes. Another intriguing point is how themes of personal transformation frequently appear in many celebrities' trajectories. Artists often go through phases where their public image is completely revamped, accompanied by drastic lifestyle changes. These moments are interpreted as a kind of rebirth, suggesting that something significant happens behind the scenes. These signs are not limited to artistic productions. On social media, cryptic messages and strange behaviors also draw attention. A young actor who quickly rose to prominence as the lead in major franchises posted a message saying, "Not everything you see is real." The post was deleted minutes later, but it was enough to spark speculation about possible pressures he faced. Award shows like the Oscars and the Grammys are frequently analyzed by theorists as events that display more than just artistic performances. The choice of themes, costumes, and choreography is interpreted as a symbolic demonstration of power or loyalty. Are these decisions merely marketing strategies, or is there a code behind these productions? Those who refuse to participate in this system seemingly vanish as quickly as they appeared. An actor who reached stardom in a major action film suddenly left the industry, declining roles in lucrative sequels. In an interview, he mentioned that not everything is worth the price being asked, without elaborating further. Since then, he has rarely appeared in prominent productions. The repetition of these patterns raises an essential question. To what extent is the meteoric success of certain stars a result of effort and talent, and where do external influences come into play? While many dismiss these theories as exaggerations or paranoia, the signs continue to emerge, fueling the mystery. Hollywood has always been fertile ground for speculation, and the digital age has amplified these discussions. While fans and critics seek to understand what happens behind the cameras, the questions remain. Are these signs merely coincidences, or are they manifestations of something larger and deliberately concealed? Hollywood is more than just a hub of entertainment production. It is an intricate system where decisions about careers and cultural narratives are made far from the public eye. Theories suggest that behind the glitz of the screens, secret groups composed of businessmen, moguls, and even political figures govern the industry with calculated strategies and objectives that go beyond profit. Since the dawn of cinema, rumors have swirled that major studios operated as exclusive societies where the fates of stars were decided in restricted meetings. Over the years, this dynamic is said to have become even more sophisticated. Today, according to reports, these groups supposedly influence not only who achieves fame, but also what messages are promoted in films, music, and series. Among theorists, the concept of a secret elite controlling Hollywood is often linked to societies combining economic and cultural interests. These groups are believed to decide who is worthy of rising to stardom and, more importantly, under what conditions. Some theories go further, claiming that these circles of power demand a level of submission that surpasses the professional sphere, creating an unbreakable bond with those who accept their terms. A widely discussed example involves a renowned director who allegedly tried to expose parts of this system in one of his films. The project, which promised to reveal industry secrets, was halted before completion, and the director faced a series of accusations that pushed him out of the market. Theorists cite this case as an example of how those who challenge the rules face immediate consequences. Furthermore, hidden symbols in major productions fuel the idea that these groups have their own signatures. Elements like triangles, eyes, and geometric figures appear repeatedly in music videos, costumes, and even film sets. For skeptics, this is nothing more than coincidence or aesthetic choice, but for believers in these groups' existence, these symbols are marks of a system operating in the shadows. Exclusive parties are also frequently mentioned in anonymous accounts. These gatherings, held in isolated mansions or secret locations, are said to be stages where new talents are introduced to the industry's elite. According to testimonies, these occasions are not simple social events, but decision-making moments where acceptance or rejection of certain invitations could determine an artist's career. Theorists argue that the power of these groups is not limited to entertainment. They believe the industry's influence is used to shape values and narratives that impact society on a global scale. From this perspective, films and music are not merely cultural products, but tools for disseminating specific ideas, carefully planned by those who control the system. The silence surrounding these practices is one of the most intriguing aspects. Celebrities rarely openly discuss these backstage dynamics, even when indirectly questioned. When statements do arise, they are often quickly dismissed or ignored. In some cases, confidentiality agreements and veiled threats are cited as means of ensuring absolute secrecy. Another notable pattern is the emergence of scandals that divert public attention. Some theories suggest that certain controversies involving stars are fabricated to protect larger interests. When a high-profile name dominates all headlines, could this be a distraction from something happening off the radar? The idea that these groups control not only careers but also global narratives may seem extreme to some. However, observing how certain artists reach the top while others suddenly disappear makes it difficult to dismiss the possibility that important decisions are made by a select few in places inaccessible to the public. While the details of these theories remain murky, the pattern of silence, recurring symbols, and seemingly orchestrated events continue to fuel the mystery. Are these groups truly the architects of Hollywood? Or is this vision merely a reflection of the public's insecurities about the industry? What is undeniable is that Hollywood's power to shape cultures and influence millions makes it fertile ground for speculation. Who really controls the game, and at what cost? Among the most controversial theories surrounding Hollywood is the idea that certain sacrifices, whether symbolic or even extreme, are required as part of rituals designed to secure young stars' permanence at the top. While this may seem like a modern legend, the theme persists in rumors, analyses, and even works produced by the industry itself. Stories of sacrifices tied to success have circulated since Hollywood's golden age. At that time, accounts were limited to humiliating or traumatic practices imposed by major studios. However, in recent decades, theories suggest these rituals may have evolved into something more elaborate and sinister. Tragic episodes involving celebrities, such as family losses or unexpected scandals, are often connected by theorists to possible symbolic demands or tributes confirming an artist's loyalty to circles of power. One of the most debated cases involves a young singer whose career skyrocketed immediately after a devastating personal event. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, many associated her rise to stardom with the tragedy, suggesting that the sequence of events was no coincidence. This type of narrative is reinforced by similar patterns seen in the careers of other artists. And this story, hard not to connect the dots, isn't it? There's always something tragic on the path to ascension. The idea of sacrifice also appears in cultural productions. Music videos, films, and major performances often explore themes of death, rebirth, and loss of control. To those who believe in hidden rituals, these elements are symbolic representations of real experiences endured by the artists. While they may simply be artistic metaphors, their constant presence raises questions about what truly happens behind the cameras. Anonymous testimonies from industry insiders add further layers to these theories. A former employee of a major record label, for instance, claimed to have witnessed events where young talents participated in symbolic ceremonies that, according to him, served to guarantee an unbreakable bond with the system. While such accounts have never been verified, the consistency among stories shared by different sources draws attention. Another popular theory asserts that scandals involving celebrities are part of these rituals. Many young artists experience episodes of public humiliation or emotional breakdowns shortly after achieving fame. These events are seen as more than the result of industry pressure, functioning as a kind of public endurance test. A frequently cited example is that of an actress who, after a turbulent period marked by controversies, underwent a complete transformation of her public image, cementing her position in the industry elite. In addition to real-life events, there are visual symbols that many interpret as references to sacrificial rituals. Performances at global award shows, for example, occasionally feature the use of fake blood, references to initiations and enactments of death and rebirth. To skeptics, these elements are merely creative choices, but to theorists, they signal something larger being communicated to those initiated into the system. The silence of those involved further reinforces suspicions. Although some celebrities occasionally drop cryptic statements, they rarely speak openly about the industry's unusual pressures or practices. When they do, consequences often follow almost immediately. Many artists who have hinted at the existence of hidden practices have subsequently disappeared from major productions or suffered severe reputational damage. The idea of sacrifice, in one form or another, seems deeply ingrained in Hollywood's narrative. Whether through personal tragedies, radical career changes, or the recurring use of symbolic themes, the concept continues to captivate the imagination of fans and critics alike. What remains unclear is to what extent these stories reflect reality, or are merely projections created by a public fascinated with the darker side of fame. Until concrete evidence surfaces, the subject will remain on the threshold between legend and reality. The repetition of similar patterns, however, suggests there is more to this story than meets the eye. The new generation of Hollywood stars seems to carry an invisible burden, as if there is a barrier between what they present to the public and what truly happens behind the scenes. Theories about rituals, pacts, and secret societies may seem exaggerated, but one question lingers. Why do so many emerging stars maintain absolute silence when it comes to the true dynamics of the industry? One reason pointed out by theorists is the existence of confidentiality contracts. Hollywood is notorious for its rigid agreements, which not only cover financial clauses, but also prohibit discussions about events, people, and internal processes. Former stars who attempted to break these rules often faced devastating lawsuits or were mysteriously sidelined from the spotlight. Are these contracts legitimate tools for privacy protection, or do they conceal something much deeper? Beyond contracts, fear is also cited as a significant factor in maintaining silence. According to insiders, a system of consequences is in place, designed to deter any attempt at exposure. This would explain why so many rising celebrities quickly backtrack when they begin to touch on sensitive topics during interviews. Another curious aspect is the transformation many artists undergo after reaching a certain level of success. Young hopefuls start their careers with enthusiasm and authenticity, but over time, their public image seems meticulously curated. This change wouldn't be unexpected in an industry that values strategy, but what stands out is how these shifts often coincide with strange behaviors, cryptic statements, or even long periods of absence. A frequently cited case is that of a rising actress who, at the peak of her career, disappeared for months without explanation. Upon returning, her personality seemed entirely different, leading many to speculate that she had gone through something intense. While she never directly mentioned what happened, she let slip a peculiar phrase during an interview. "There are things about this place you only understand when it's too late." Shortly after the statement, her publicist interrupted the interview. Social media is also a stage for intriguing behaviors. Many young artists post messages that, to the general public, seem harmless but are interpreted by the most attentive fans as cries for help or coded confessions. A quickly deleted post where an actor commented, "Sometimes the price is too high," sparked intense debates among theorists, who pointed to it as a potential reference to a ritual or demand behind the scenes. But why does the new generation appear more vulnerable to these pressures than stars of the past? Some analysts suggest that the speed at which fame is achieved today makes artists more susceptible to manipulation. Social media, global streaming platforms, and multi-million-dollar productions create an urgent need for constant relevance. This could lead many young talents to accept conditions they don't fully understand simply to avoid losing their shot in such a competitive industry. Additionally, there's the psychological impact of living under constant scrutiny. Many artists report feeling isolated despite being surrounded by fans and followers. According to rumors, this sense of isolation is exacerbated by rituals or demands that detach them from their roots and integrate them into a system where loyalty to the circle of power becomes absolute. Could this isolation be a form of control? Those who question these practices are often dismissed as conspiracy theorists, yet the history of silence, strange behaviors, and fragmented stories is hard to ignore. How can one explain, for instance, the similarities in accounts from artists across different generations who never had contact with each other? Is it possible that so many similar stories are merely coincidental? There are also reports of celebrities who tried to expose parts of this system, only to face severe consequences. A famous singer from the 2000s who openly spoke about bizarre practices in the industry saw her career collapse shortly after. After years of silence, she reappeared, but has never touched on the subject again. Why do so many stories follow the same pattern? The strange events are not limited to emerging stars. Some long-standing celebrities also exhibit behaviors that raise suspicions. Cryptic statements, abrupt career changes, and even prolonged absences from public events are often interpreted as signs that not even veterans are immune to the system's pressures. On the other hand, some argue that the widespread silence doesn't prove conspiracies, but rather reflects the intense psychological pressure of being in an industry where expectations are nearly impossible to meet. Could the mystery simply be a reflection of the entertainment industry's harsh nature, rather than something more calculated? The truth may never be fully known. However, as patterns of silence persist, the mystery surrounding Hollywood's new generation of stars will continue to fuel unanswered questions. After all, is it just the weight of fame, or something deeper? The story behind Hollywood's stars is as fascinating as it is unsettling. Rumors of pacts, rituals, and sacrifices may never be proven, but the questions persist. Why are so many careers marked by strange events? Why do patterns seem to repeat? Are these mysteries merely the result of an unforgiving industry, or does something darker lurk in the shadows of entertainment? Whatever the truth may be, Hollywood's secrets continue to captivate the collective imagination. Perhaps we will never know what really happens behind the spotlight, but like pieces of an incomplete puzzle, these stories keep curiosity alive. This story is just one piece, and one day, maybe the full picture will come into view. If this made you think too, share, like, and subscribe. After all, more voices mean more discoveries.